I shouldn't have picked up that call. It started with the rain. I remember that night because it wasn't supposed to rain. The forecast had said, clear skies, but by 8 p.m., it was coming down hard, slapping the pavement, hammering the roof like impatient fingers. I was alone in my apartment, scrolling through Reddit with the TV on low, a documentary about cults playing in the background. Then my phone rang. It wasn't a ringtone I recognized. Just a deep, long tone, like a church bell, but metallic and slow. I stared at the screen. No caller ID. No number. Just the word, answer. Now, I'm not the kind of person who spooks easily. I love horror movies. I watch late-night YouTube rabbit holes about missing people and haunted places. So honestly, I laughed a little and picked up. But no one spoke. What I heard instead was rain. Not the rain outside my window, it was different. Closer. More textured, like it was falling inside a tin can or an empty hallway. I thought maybe it was a prank. Or a pocket dial. But then I heard it, a single, wet footstep. Then another. Slow. Dragging. Like someone walking barefoot down a flooded corridor. I said, hello, again. My voice cracked a little, which annoyed me. But the steps stopped. There was silence for about 10 seconds. Then a woman whispered, don't move, he sees you now. Click. My skin crawled. I spun around like an idiot, expecting someone to be behind me. But I was alone. Still, I turned off the lights, locked my bedroom door, and told myself it was probably some viral marketing stunt. Maybe a new horror game. Except, something kept bugging me. The whisper, it didn't sound like it came through the phone. It sounded like it came from inside the room. Like the phone was just letting me hear what was already here. That's when I noticed something else. The documentary I had been watching? The one about cults? The TV was off. Not paused. Not frozen. Off. And the remote was still on the coffee table. I hadn't touched it. I got up and turned the TV back on, mostly just to have noise. It was one of those Samsung smart TVs, and as it booted up, I noticed the list of apps had changed. There was one I didn't recognize. It just said, watch him. I didn't click it. I swear I didn't. But it opened anyway. Black screen. Then static. Then a live feed of a hallway. Not mine. At least, I didn't think it was. The wallpaper looked old, peeling at the edges. Water stained. Dim yellow lights humming above. And then, in the corner of the screen, someone moved. Tall, thin, barefoot, head down. He was just standing there at the end of the hallway. And then he turned. He had no face. I mean that literally. No features. Just wet, pale skin stretched over where his eyes and mouth should be. But I could still feel him looking at me. I turned off the TV. Not with the remote. With the wall switch. Then unplugged the damn thing. I didn't sleep that night. Kept every light on. Every door locked. But nothing else happened. Not until the next morning. Around 6 a.m., there was a knock on my door. Not the building buzzer. Not a knock from the hallway. It came from inside the apartment. From the closet near my bed. 3 slow knocks. I froze. I was fully awake, sitting up in bed. I hadn't slept a second. I told myself I imagined it, that it was the plumbing or something shifting. But then I saw it. The closet door handle was turning. Slowly. Then it stopped. And from behind the door, that same whisper, you shouldn't have answered. I ran. I didn't grab my phone. I didn't even put on shoes. I ran barefoot into the rain and didn't stop until I reached the 7-Eleven down the street. I must have looked insane, soaked and shaking and babbling about my closet. When I finally returned, with the building super, no less, everything was normal. The closet was empty. My phone was still on the couch. The TV was unplugged, just like I'd left it. I moved out that week. But here's the part one can't explain. I bought a new phone when I moved. New number, new carrier. No connections to anything from before. But last night, during another thunderstorm, it rang. Same ringtone. Same word on the screen. Answer. I didn't. But the TV turned on anyway. And this time, the hallway on the screen? It was mine. And the thing at the end of it had started walking. Toward the camera. Toward me. I'm not sure how long I have left. But if you're watching this, never, ever pick up a call that doesn't have a number. Because once he sees you, you can't unsee him. Something lives in my umbrella. I swear to God I'm not crazy. I know how it's gonna sound. You'll think I'm just tired or making stuff up, but I need to say it out loud before I start questioning it myself again. It started 3 nights ago. Pouring rain. One of those nights where the sky feels too low and the thunder comes from deep inside your bones. I was leaving work late. I'm a night cleaner at a language school downtown, nothing fancy. Around 11:30 p.m., I locked up, stepped outside, and realized I'd left my umbrella somewhere. I didn't want to go back in. That place is creepy at night, long empty halls, lights that buzz too loud, windows that reflect more than they show. So I checked the lost and found box near the lobby desk. It's usually just scarves and water bottles. But this time, there was an umbrella sitting on top. Black. Basic. Looked fine. So I took it. The first weird thing happened when I opened it outside. It was dead quiet under there. Like, completely silent. Not muffled like you'd expect, but like the rain stopped existing the second I stepped beneath it. I remember walking down the sidewalk, hearing my footsteps echo way too clearly while the rest of the world just vanished into hush. That silence clung to me all the way to the subway station. Even inside, under all the noise and lights and people, I felt sealed in something. Like I wasn't totally there. And then I started hearing it. A drip. From inside the umbrella. Not onto it. From it. A soft, slow drip, like water falling from high up in a cavern. I checked. There was nothing wet. No holes. No leaks. I shook it out when I got home and threw it in the corner of the closet. Didn't think about it much after that. But the dream started that night. I was standing in the middle of an open field. No sound, no wind, just gray skies above. I had the umbrella open, even though it wasn't raining. And I couldn't move, couldn't put it down. And something was above me, behind the fabric. Something huge. It pressed down, like gravity itself was kneeling on the canopy. I couldn't see it, but I knew if I looked up, I'd lose my mind. I'd scream and scream and scream and never stop. I woke up sweating, heart pounding. Closet door cracked open, and that stupid umbrella leaning out of it, like it had moved. The next day, I left it in the hallway by the trash chute. It was back inside by evening, propped up neatly by the door, dry as if it hadn't spent hours in the rain. No footprints. No signs of entry. Just waiting. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak of the apartment sounded like dripping water. I swear I heard something whispering in the drain. Words I couldn't understand. Like a language that was older than breath. I thought about burning it. But when I grabbed it to throw it in the bathtub and light it up, I felt something pull in my chest. Like a panic attack, but worse, like I was being watched from directly behind my eyes. So I didn't burn it. I sat down, umbrella in my lap. And I listened. It started to talk. Not in words, exactly. Just impressions. Feelings. Cold thoughts pressed against my skull like fingertips. Things it had seen. Wet alleyways. Broken windows. Mouths in the rain. One vision stuck with me. A man, maybe early 30s, standing in the middle of traffic with this same umbrella, and every driver swerving, screaming, covering their eyes. He wasn't doing anything. Just holding it. But whatever he saw when he looked up, it was enough to make him lie down on the road and never get back up. I think it's not an umbrella at all. I think it's something wearing the shape of one. A thing that doesn't belong here. That can't exist under the sun. That needs to be carried. And if you use it long enough, it uses you back. Tonight, I went out to test it. Not proud of what I did. I stood at the corner of 12th and Alder, holding the umbrella over my head. Quiet as ever underneath it. Then I stepped aside and offered it to a woman passing by. She was polite. Said thanks. Took it without looking twice. Walked off into the rain. She got about 15 steps away. Then she stopped. Looked up. And started screaming. People rushed to help, but she just stood there, screaming and pointing up and up and up like something was descending that only she could see. Then she dropped the umbrella, fell to her knees, and curled up like a child. She hasn't spoken since. They took her away in an ambulance. I stood there, watching, and then I picked it back up. The umbrella. It was dry. And warm. Almost breathing. I brought it home again. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm not afraid anymore. Maybe because I think I understand it now. It doesn't want to hurt anyone. It just wants to be seen. To be carried. To be opened. I'm going to go for a walk tonight. Forecast says heavy storms. If you see me, don't wave. Don't say hi. And for the love of God, don't look up. Last night wasn't the first time. I don't know what's worse, that something happened last night, or that part of me already knew it would. It was raining again, loud and sudden, just after midnight. Not the usual steady drizzle either. It came down like the sky was having a breakdown. I was home alone, nursing a headache, scrolling my phone while the rain smashed against my windows like it wanted in. And then the power went out. No thunder. Just lights off, TV off, everything dead. I didn't freak out. I live in an older building and the power trips once in a while. I grabbed my phone for the flashlight and went to the breaker box near the kitchen. As I passed the hallway mirror, I noticed something that made me stop. I wasn't holding my phone in the reflection. My hand was empty. I froze, staring at it. I held the flashlight up and down, waved it around a little, but in the mirror, nothing. My reflection just stood there, hand lowered, face blank. Not copying me exactly. Like it had forgotten how. Then it smiled. I swear to you, it smiled. I jumped back, dropped the phone, and fell on my ass. The light landed weird, rolling on the floor, making shadows stretch across the hallway like long fingers. The mirror was just a mirror again. Reflection normal. Me, staring back at myself, terrified. I should have left then. I should have grabbed my jacket and gone down the hall to my neighbor's place, or even outside into the rain. But I didn't. Something in me wanted to stay. Like I was already used to this. I reset the breaker, lights came back, and I told myself it was a stress thing. A glitch in my brain. Migraine aura. I've had those before. But then I checked my phone camera. Just to prove something. I switched to the front camera and pointed it at the mirror. And the reflection was wrong again. Not scary this time, just different. The room behind me in the screen wasn't my apartment. The walls were gray instead of beige. The window was bricked up. The floor was wet. And behind me in the camera, but not in real life, there was a woman. Standing. Still. Hair soaked and clinging to her face. Mouth open like she was mid-scream, but no sound came out. I turned around fast. Nothing there. Back to the screen, nothing. Just me now. My real reflection. But my heart wouldn't slow down. I felt, watched. Like my apartment wasn't entirely mine anymore. I locked my bedroom door, pulled the curtains tight, and crawled into bed. And this is where it gets worse. I had a dream. At least, I think it was a dream. I was in that same version of my apartment, the one from the camera. Everything wet, cold, mold climbing the corners. I was standing barefoot in the middle of the living room, and I could hear the sound of rain even though the windows didn't exist anymore. And the woman was there again, closer now. I couldn't see her face. Her hair covered it, but she was breathing fast, shoulders jerking like she was sobbing or laughing or both. I stepped toward her, and she raised one hand, slowly. She pointed behind me. I turned around. There was a wall where my front door should be. On that wall, written in dripping black letters, were the words. Last night wasn't the first time. I woke up gasping. But my bedroom was wrong. The walls were gray. My feet were wet. My mirror was gone. I panicked, ran into the hall, and I was back in my normal apartment again. Beige walls. Dry carpet. The mirror in place. But my phone was on the floor where I dropped it earlier. And the lock on my front door was broken. As if it had been kicked from the inside. I left. I've been outside for hours now, sitting in my car, writing this. I drove out of the city, parked at a rest stop. I haven't gone back yet. But the scariest part? I found a folder on my phone just now. Buried deep. Hidden. It's full of videos. Clips of me. Sleeping. Cooking. Staring into mirrors. Dozens of them. Each one labeled with a date. And every date is during a thunderstorm. The earliest video? It's from almost a year ago. And in the background of every single one, behind me, just barely visible in the dark glass, she's there. Watching. Closer each time. And now I remember. She used to live here. This apartment. Before me. She died in it. Drowned in her own bathtub. Rain had flooded the building, pipes burst, nobody found her for days. I remember now, because I was the one who moved in after. The landlord never told me. But she did. I think that's why she keeps showing up. Not to scare me. To remind me. Because last night wasn't the first time. It was the last. And this version of me might be the final one she needs. I just saw my reflection blink. But I haven't. Not in over a minute. I think I helped someone die last night. But I'm not sure if it was last night. Or if it was the first time. It started during the storm. Heavy rain, late night, maybe 2 or 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep. The kind of rain that makes the air feel like it's pressing in on your chest. I live alone in a basement apartment. Quiet neighborhood. No traffic after dark. No people walking around. But I heard someone knock. Not on the front door. On the glass. The window near my couch. The one that faces that narrow strip between my building and the neighbor's garage. Nobody should be out there. I didn't look right away. Thought maybe it was the rain playing tricks. Then they knocked again. Louder. A weird, uneven rhythm. I went over, slowly. Pulled the curtain just an inch. There was a man standing in the dark. But something was wrong with his face. It looked smooth. Like plastic wrap stretched too tight. I couldn't see a mouth, no eyes. Just this bulging, blank shape where a face should have been. And he was soaked. His shoulders were trembling, like he was freezing. He tapped the window once more. Then held up a piece of paper. I couldn't read it. It was too wet. All the ink had bled. Then he just backed away, disappeared into the shadows. I stayed up the rest of the night, lights on, heart racing. I kept thinking, should I have helped him? Was that some kind of mask? A prank? Or had I just seen something I wasn't supposed to? Next morning, I checked the ground outside my window. Mud, wet footprints. And one thing left behind, the paper. Still damp, almost unreadable. But one part was clear, scratched in with what looked like a fingernail. Don't let me in again. That word, again, bothered me. Because it felt true. Like part of me remembered this man, this moment, even though I know I've never seen him before. That day was off. I kept losing time. I'd blink and realize hours had passed. My reflection didn't match what I was doing. I'd raise my hand and see it already raised in the mirror, waiting for me. Later that night, the storm came back. Harder. And I heard something even stranger than the knock. I heard my voice. From outside. Calling my name. It was faint at first. Like a whisper over the wind. Then clearer. Closer. Matt, let me in. I froze. I know my own voice. I know how I sound when I'm scared. It kept repeating, Matt, please. I'm cold. Please let me in. I looked out the window again. Same man. Same blank face. But this time, he was holding something new. A mirror. Pointed at me. And I swear to God, I wasn't in it. The mirror was showing my apartment window, yes, but it was empty. No me. Just rain and shadows. Then he tilted it slightly. And I saw someone else standing behind him. Me. Not the me at the window, the one in the mirror. That version of me was taller, paler, and smiling. I don't remember much after that. I must have blacked out. When I woke up, I was lying on my living room floor. The lights were off. My phone was dead. And there was mud on my carpet. Bare footprints. Coming in from the front door. Even though it was locked. I got up and went to the bathroom. I needed to splash water on my face, calm down. But the bathroom mirror wasn't mine. It was cracked. I stared into it, and what looked back wasn't quite me. It was a version of me, but wet, lips trembling, whispering something I couldn't hear. So I leaned closer, and it mouthed one word. Run. That's when I started remembering things I shouldn't. Memories that don't belong to me. Places I've never been. People I've never met. A circle of strangers in white robes, standing in a storm, chanting beneath a wooden structure shaped like an open mouth. All of them wearing masks stretched tight across their faces. And in the middle? Me. Smiling, holding a mirror. Last night, I found something under my bed. A box. One I don't remember owning. Inside were photos. Dozens of them. All of me. Each one with a date scribbled on the back. Going back years. And in every photo, I'm standing next to that man with the plastic face. Sometimes in the woods. Sometimes by my window. Sometimes right here, in this room. One photo, the most recent, has today's date on it. It shows me sleeping in my bed. The plastic-faced man is standing over me. And I'm smiling. I don't remember the photo being taken. But I know the look in my eyes. It's not fear. It's relief. Like I'd just let something back in. And that's the worst part. The part one haven't told anyone. I think I already did. Let him in. Not last night. Not this week. Years ago. I think I invited him. I think I was part of it. And now the rain's coming again. I can hear knocking. But this time, it's from inside the mirror. And the voice calling my name? It's not mine anymore. I found my own voice in the rain. It started with the voicemail. I got it around 2:14 a.m., in the middle of a thunderstorm. I remember the exact time because I just looked at the microwave clock when the power flickered. I was making tea to help me sleep. Rain messes with my nerves. The call came from my own number. At first I thought it was a glitch. But then I saw it had left a voicemail. 10 seconds long. Just breathing. Then, at the end, my own voice, quiet, shaky, whispering, "He's still outside." That's it. No context. No second call. No follow-up. Just me, saying something I don't remember ever saying. The thing is, I live alone. And I hadn't spoken to anyone all night. I played it a few more times, just to make sure I wasn't hearing it wrong. I even saved it, thinking maybe I'd show someone. But I never did. Because that night wasn't an accident. Something had already started. I live in a small, one-bedroom ground-floor apartment near the edge of town. Quiet. Trees line the property, and there's a narrow footpath that runs behind the building. I always keep the blinds down. That night, I made sure every window was locked. I don't know why, I just felt exposed. Like something could see me even when I couldn't see it. Around 3 a.m., I heard footsteps behind the apartment. Light, careful ones. Pausing every few seconds. I turned off the lights and peeked out through a crack in the blinds. Nothing. But then lightning hit, just for a second, and in that flash, I saw someone standing completely still in the trees. Too far to make out details. Just a shape. But they were facing me, like they'd known exactly where to stand so the flash would reveal them. I stepped back. Waited a few minutes. Peeked again. Nothing. But the next lightning flash came a few seconds later, and this time the figure was closer. Halfway across the yard now. Not moving. Just standing with their arms down at their sides. Watching. I didn't wait for the third flash. I grabbed my phone, went to call 911, but my screen was frozen. Completely locked up, just displaying the voicemail app. That same message still playing on loop. He's still outside. But now the voice didn't sound exactly like me. It sounded tired, slurred, older. And the breathing, it didn't stop after 10 seconds this time. It just kept going. I shut the phone off, physically, and when it powered back up, everything was gone. No voicemail. No record of a missed call. Like it had never happened. And then something else occurred to me. If I had received the message at 2:14 a.m., and the voice said, he's still outside, then that meant at some point before that call, whoever left the message believed someone had been inside. I didn't sleep that night. I kept all the lights on, sat with my back to the wall, and waited for the sun. It rained the entire next day. I didn't go to work. I couldn't. I kept thinking about that voice. The way it sounded like me, but not me. The tone. The fear. The slow realization underneath the words. Like whoever said it was already too late. I finally caved and checked my call history again. There were more. 8 voicemails. All from my own number. All between 2 o'clock and 3 a.m. Each one with the same sound, breathing, then words. But the words changed. The second message said, I think he moved the chair. The third, don't sleep. Please don't sleep. The fourth, he's trying to sound like you now. I stopped after the fifth, because that one whispered, I remember this. I said this before. And suddenly I had this feeling, like I wasn't experiencing this for the first time either. Like I'd lived this before. And forgotten. Like something was forcing me to go through it again, just slightly different. Each time a little closer to something I wasn't meant to remember. That night, the rain got worse. It pounded the roof so hard I thought it might cave in. I sat by the front door with a kitchen knife in my lap and every light on in the house. I knew I wouldn't sleep. I just had to survive until morning. At 2:14 a.m., my phone vibrated once. No ringtone. Just a voicemail. From my own number. My hands were shaking as I pressed play. This one lasted longer. No breathing. Just a voice. My voice. But this time, it wasn't scared. It was calm. Almost happy. It said, he got in. And it's better this way. Then the sound of a door creaking open. And the line went dead. I turned toward the front door. And the knife was gone. I don't remember falling asleep. But when I woke up, it was morning. Everything looked normal. Except for one thing. All the picture frames in my hallway had been turned backward during the night. Every one. And my phone? No call history. No voicemails. Except one new photo in my gallery. A blurry picture of me, sleeping. Taken from inside the apartment. With the window behind me wide open. And a face pressed against the glass. Not mine. But smiling. Like it remembered something I still haven't. Yet,